That's No Moon Battle Reports are sponsored by ComScan. ComScan is an Etsy store selling the best Star Wars Legion order tokens in the galaxy. Pairing satisfying tactile qualities of a casino chip with high-definition graphics that come straight from the bridge of the profundity. You'll be using improvised orders just to keep drawing from the bag. Check out the range on Etsy. Click the link in the description of the video. Hello there, I'm Tom from That's No Moon, and welcome back to episode 15 of our Battle Reports. Today I take on my friend and long-term That's No Moon patron, Jordan. I've played Jordan a few times, and it's always been a close game, but I've managed to snag the win in the last two, so I think this time Jordan's come in ready to get double kudos by beating me on film. I decided to bring this monstrosity of a list, mainly because I own 5 Rebel veterans. So I've got 798 points at 10 activations. I've got Han Solo with Up Close and Personal, Recon Intel and Improvised Orders, Boba Fett with Hunter, Seize the Initiative, the Flame Projector and Prepared Supplies, 5 squads of Rebel veterans with the CMO and Recon Intel, and 3 strike teams with the Sniper and Hunter. While Jordan brings something that he's played a fair amount, his Kashyyyk Defenders. Turn 0 we get Hostage, Major Offensive, and Rapid Reinforcements. This isn't great for me, as I'm now having to play more defensive. My battle deck was all the long deployments so that I could try and shoot on the approach, with Rule of Respect giving me 5 range 4 shots and 3 range 5 shots with an extra black dice in the ranged attack, but now I'm not so sure that that's a good plan.
Just a little bit about the list that I'm playing today. It is a Wookiee Defenders Battle Force list. It's made up of 8 activations, comes in at 796 points. I think Wookiee Defenders has been an absolute breath of fresh air for Wookiees. I've played them pretty much since I started playing Legion, and the sort of nerf to scale and things when the rule change came out really hurt Wookiees, but this Battle Force has made them really fun and playable again in my mind. I don't think they're super competitive, but they have got a place. So the list is the commander is a Wookiee Chieftain. He's equipped with Seize the Initiative. Got 2 Kashyyyk Defenders. They've got a bowcaster each, and then I've got 5 Noble Fighter Wookiee Warriors. They've equipped with a Battle Shield and Recon Intel. So the idea of this list is really simple. It wants to go forward and hit things quite hard. You want to press the W key pretty much from turn 1. The list is coupled with a battle deck which is designed to give my opponent some quite difficult choices in terms of setup of the game. So the deployments are Major Offensive, Advanced Positions, Hemmed In and Danger Close. The objectives that I've chosen are Payload, Interceptor Transmissions, Breakthrough and Hostage Exchange. And then the conditions, which are the most tricky to pick from, are Hostile Environment, Limb Viz, War Weary and Rapid Reinforcements. This list itself loves Limb Viz or Rapid Reinforcements, but doesn't mind the other 2 either, so that can hurt a lot of other lists as well. There's nothing scarier than having 2 Battle Shield Wookiees sort of dropped into your back line just outside of range 2. Yes, it really helps with threat saturation and sort of pulling my opponent's sort of attention in different ways. The other thing that I really like about this list, which again makes it really fun to play in my opinion, is the order control that comes with it. So when you play a command card, if you stick an order on the chieftain, then you know every token in your bag's the same. So if you've got any additional orders to play for any of the effects on the cards, great. But if not, you're just doing it purely for the order control. Apart from the Wookiee 1 pip, obviously that goes to a Special Forces or support, but with Seize the Initiative you pop that and you're absolutely good to go. You know exactly when you can go, so again you can react to your opponent doing things, or again you can put pressure on other units knowing that they've got a fishing from the bag. So yeah, it's really useful in that respect. And the list itself just wants to run forward. It's got lots of killing power. I think obviously the melee Wookiees chuck a big bow in when they get in. It's 6 black and 2 red. If you spend a name, they get Pierce as well. They're also quite good at holding off anything that's got Pierce in melee because of the duelist keywords. If they spend a dodge, they're immune Pierce, which is great. and I've been really surprised by the power of the Kashyyyk defenders, the shooty Wookiees, with a bowcaster. They've got sharpshooter 1. Obviously they throw 7 white dice and 1 red. It is a bit of a lottery, but they do surge to hit, and when your white dice hit, they can do some real damage. They've been quite fickle in recent games, only hitting on the red when I've rolled them, so that's been quite annoying. But yeah, they are a really good dice pool, and they are really good at getting through cover and things like that. Because of the pierce, you can consistently chip away at units. So yeah, it's in my opinion, it's a really fun list to play. So it's got lots of killing power, and I think it looks quite good on the table as well. So yeah, that's the list.
Jordan makes some amazing alt art cards, so be sure to check them out if you're interested in making your cards look far more interesting to look at with Doughball custom cards on Etsy. Like I said, going into turn 1, my plan has changed. I'm worried that the Wookiees are going to lay some serious smackdown, and I'm thinking I can make the most of Boba's standby, so I opt for standing orders, as does Jordan. We roll off with the chance cube and Jordan gets the priority. My order goes to Han, and Jordan's the chieftain. Jordan has perfect order control with his list, which is a daunting prospect. Jordan goes first and activates a Wookiee squad, flips the shield to attack mode, double moves to a building out of line of sight of my veterans. This is worrying for next turn. With a double scale and a charge for the start of turn 2, that's definitely a problem for future me. I go to my bag and I get a core. I take a range 4 shot as action number 1. 4 white with crit 2, I give Jordan 1 wound, and with my second action, I move away. With Jordan's second activation, he goes with more Wookiee warriors, this time moving up to range 3 and cover, and he takes a shot into a full squad of vets. Being the shooty Wookiees, he's got sharpshooter 1, and I just have light cover. He can see 3 minis and he has PS1, and as you can imagine, I lose 3 minis. Pulling a core, I decide to take advantage of the opportunity to move my hostage towards my deployment. Choosing to pass, it's back to me, and my snipers have a range 5 shot onto Jordan's Wookiees at the back. They have the battle shield but light cover down to none. With a crit and PS1, Jordan takes a wound. So Jordan now decides to activate some more shooty wooks. He moves to range 3 of a veteran squad, heavy down to light, he can see 2 minis, and this time I take 3 wounds. But he can only see 2, so I only lose 2 minis. Back to my bag, I pull a core. I choose to aim and standby to try and make the most of seeing the Wookiees with the hostage, but not being in line of sight of the unit leader, so I can react if he decides to move or take a shot towards the rest of my army. Activating another Wookiee squad, Jordan flips into attack mode on the shield and double moves up towards the middle. I pull Boba Fett. I tap improvise orders because it's a little bit early for him. I get a special forces unit. This time I aim and shoot into the wounded Wookiees. With Hunter, this gives me an additional aim. With 2 aims, I get 2 PS1, and Jordan can now move with the Battle Force rule. This triggers Boba's standby, and I shoot, again getting another 2 wounds on that squad. Jordan now deciding to go with his hostage, he moves to touch terrain to ignore the cover. Triggering my standby, I decide to tactically retreat towards the crashed interceptor. He then shoots into the squad of 2 men, this time it's just 1 wound and I'm left with just a unit leader. My final snipers again aim and shoot at the wounded squad. It triggers Hunter and I get a second aim. Because Jordan has no dodge, I use the second man's gun and give him 2 PS1 and kill another Wookiee. The secret I've always found when you're playing into Wookiees is to focus your fire and never to split. Jordan decides to go with his chieftain and he double moves up towards the rest of my army. With my single man, I don't rally and I get a single action, so I move him forward. If I can tie up some Wookiees, that's a win for me next turn because he'll have to waste an activation killing him. and it also messes with where he can deploy with rapid reinforcements. Jordan is now onto his rapid squad with Wookiees, and he deploys in towards my back lines.
Yeah, so there was a little bit of a mistake on my part when deploying one of my units that I'd set aside in rapid reinforcements. It was one of the battle shield squads. I measured to be just outside of range 2 of Tom's strike teams. I completely disregarded the hostage unit, which I think was about range 1 3/4 away from memory. And yeah, Tom noticed it a couple of activations later, but he was really good about it. We spoke about it and said, look, obviously it's a genuine mistake, and we had made a sort of a gentleman's agreement that next turn I wouldn't charge that unit with that unit that had been deployed unless they moved directly towards him, because they should be outside of range 2. So it would have been unfair of me to run in and attack his hostage unit from a position that we shouldn't have been deployed in. So yeah, I think that's just a really good example of one, how good of a player Tom is, and what good communication between players does to sort of go over mistakes and make sure no one's getting an unnecessary advantage. But yeah, certainly wasn't intentional. I'll definitely bear that in mind for next time I play that condition.
I deploy my rapid reinforcement squad on the roof by Jordan's Wookiees that he's just deployed to try and rain down some hurt in the next turn. With Jordan's final squad, he now deploys with the rest of the Wookiees in the ball. Now out of activations, it's all me. So I go with Boba, who aims and triggers Hunter to get another 2 crits PS1, and Jordan loses the battle shield. With Han as my final activation, I move and shoot Jordan's Wookiees with no cover. I get a crit, PS2, and then I move out of line of sight. Going into turn 2, I'm a little bit concerned about Han, and I'm also concerned about my hostages. In fact, thinking about it, I'm actually concerned about everything. I choose to play Reckless Diversion and try and preserve the health of my army, and give an order to Han and some vets in heavy cover. If Jordan's Wookiees come close enough to attack, they'll trigger Boba's standby. Jordan plays the Wookiee 3-pip, giving him a face-up and demoralise. I have the priority, and I choose to go to my bag. I get a core. I aim and shoot into the Wookiees with the vets on the roof. After my aim and armour, Jordan has 5 to defend, takes 3 wounds, and they get to make a move. Jordan activates his hostage squad and uses Demoralise to remove Boba's standby. He then attacks the veterans and moves, and I take 2 wounds.
Yeah, so here was another sort of little mistake and a sort of learning point for me. I wanted to charge Tom's hostage unit with my hostage unit, and that was my misunderstanding of the rules. I knew you can't start on melee, you can't sort of be melee turn 1 with a hostage unit, but I didn't realise you couldn't start on melee at all. So that changed my plans here. So I decided to sort of do the safe thing and move the unit back towards my deployment. But yeah, that's definitely something I've played wrong in the past, so apologies to anyone I've done that to, and I've had it played wrong against me as well, so that's definitely something I'll bear in mind moving forward. Every day's a school day.
I activate Han, and I move and take a shot into his Wookiees and deal another wound. I get a dodge from up close and personal, and then I move again out of line of sight. Activating a Wookiee squad with just a unit leader, Jordan double moves into melee with my hostage. He charges in, getting a single wound, but most importantly, he's halted my hostage, which is a disaster for me. I now go to my bag and I pull a core. I activate the single man and I double move into melee with some Wookiees. This guy is full sacrificial unit who is no longer destined for this world, but he is going to slow the Wookiees down. With Jordan's Wookiees by the back lines, Jordan now double moves into my snipers. Not ideal for me as he one-shots them. They're now in the open and in front of my entire list. So I pull a core with my 3-man vets, I move to touch the terrain and get 3 hits onto Jordan's hostage and I deal 2 wounds. I've exposed those vets, so Jordan's shooty Wookiees aim and take a shot, giving me 7 to defend. Down to 6 and the squad is obliterated. 7 out of 8 on white dice, before the aim. Let that sink in for a second.
So my dice were hot on this particular day. I know I'd had some swings beforehand with some pretty big hits, but this roll in particular, on one vet as well, it felt like a bit of a waste. But yeah, I decided to attack first and then take my second action afterwards, and rolled the full 8 out of 8 onto this poor individual vet. So yeah, he did get killed. He was quite comprehensively splattered, and these Wookiees were able to move further forward to continue the carnage. But yeah, 8 out of 8 very rarely happens, but it's so satisfying when it does.
Pulling a sniper, I get 2 into the approaching Wookiees, and I get 2 wounds, and then I move out of line of sight. Activating yet more Wookiees, Jordan double moves towards the fight. With my final sniper, I shoot, and then I move, giving Jordan's Wookiees another wound. Activating his next shooty boys, he again double moves up. My face-up rebels activate. I don't rally, and I shoot into his hostage squad, who take another 2 wounds, and then they make full advantage of their free move. Now going with the squad in melee, Jordan kills the single man, and then he moves up.
So this is where I thought I'd sort of chucked the game a little bit, because it was still a little bit in the balance. Tom's hostage unit was left with two minis, and the unit that I'd engaged him with was left on 1 wound. So at this point I thought, oh, that's curtains. Tom attacked them, elected to go to attack so he could get away. 2 hits, so I thought that's it. Needed 2 out of 2 saves. Threw the dice, and to my surprise 2 shields popped up, which is just absolutely incredible. 2 6-up saves on that Wookiee unit, which kept Tom's hostage where it was, which was massive for me. I think it was sort of a really big point in the game. I think it was still going pretty positively for me anyway, but this was, yeah, it was just incredible. And then the unit that was in melee that just made the save proceeded then to kill Tom's hostage carrying unit. So that was a massive swing, and again, dice coming out on my side massively there, which I think, to be fair, I'm owed from the last few games, because I didn't realise my white dice had any paint on them. So yeah, really good roll.
Now pulling Boba Fett, I move into melee with the Wookiees and finish them off in melee. Jordan's final activation is the Chieftain, who moves up to threaten my hostage. And my final activation of the turn is to punch a single Wookiee in melee with him, and I give him 2 wounds. For turn 3, Jordan plays the Wookiee 1-pip, which gives a Wookiee a bunch of tokens, and I play Boba's 2-pip, making his way in the galaxy. I'm really hoping to get Boba's area attack off on as many Wookiees as I can. I don't see this game going my way, so I may as well try and go down fighting. Jordan pops sees the initiative on the Chieftain, and then issues an order to a wounded squad to get maximum effect from the tokens. Going with Jordan's single Wookiee in melee with my hostage, he aims and punches, giving me 2 wounds. These guys are charging distance from the Chieftain, so I'm pretty sure they're done for. Activating Boba Fett, I decide to play fast and loose. I activate Boba, I double move to be able to see as many Wookiees as possible, but with only space for 2 minis from base to base with Boba Fett. I move, so with 2 aims from tactical, I then go to attack units in the bubble. With Hunter, I'll be getting additional aims on most attacks, as they're pretty much all wounded. I kill a mini in the first squad, who gets to move. The second squad take 3 wounds, and again they move. I deal 1 wound to the hostage unit, and then I hit the Chieftain for 2 more wounds. At this point, I don't think I'm going to be able to do a huge amount of damage to Jordan's Wookiees, so a Leroy Jenkins move felt like the perfect choice. Jordan now decides to aim and charge into Boba Fett, leaving enough space for 1 other Wookiee. I have a dodge from prepared supplies, and I have 2 to defend, and I take a single wound. With a sniper squad now at range 3, I get 1 PS1 on some Wookiees. Jordan now double moves into melee with my vets, giving me 5 to defend and the squad is one shot. My core on the roof now activate. They move to range 4 of Jordan's Wookiees. With 4 white, crit 2, I get nothing. Jordan, now with choices of trying to kill the hostage or Boba Fett, decides to aim and charge into Boba. Giving me 5 to defend, Boba takes 2 wounds. He's only got 2 left to take, but he's currently safe from any more attacks in melee this round. I decide it's time to activate Han Solo, who double moves and takes 2 shots into some Wookiees, giving me 2 dodges from up close and personal. Jordan has 2 PS2 and then 2 PS2 into the hostage, who now move away. With the hostage unit, Jordan now decides to rally. He only gets a single action. He chooses to move towards his deployment. I then pull a sniper who moves to get line of sight on that same unit. As he's wounded, I get an aim from Hunter and I give him another 1 PS1. With the Wookiee squad, Jordan now moves to get line of sight on Han. He attacks for 3 crits, meaning that I can't spend any of my dodges and I take 3 wounds. My final activation is to go with my hostage. I attack and I get 2 hits. I only need 1 wound to kill this guy and then I can move away, but Jordan saves both. So I take a dodge, and I think this was the final nail in the coffin of my way back into this game. To finish the round, Jordan shoots Han. With heavy cover, low profile, against his sharpshooter I still have cover 2 and 2 dodges, and I still take a single wound, leaving Han on 1 health. For turn 4, I opt for change of plans into sorry about the mess, and Jordan plays ambush. I pop C's on Boba, as I think that Han and Boba are toast this turn, but I'm going to go down swinging if they can. Activating Han, I move to touch some terrain and I shoot into 2 Wookiee squads for 2 PS2 on both. Again, 2 dodges from up close and personal. Jordan loses a mini and takes a move towards my sniper with his Wookiee that's now a single mini. And then with his second action, Han moves into as much cover as possible. Jordan activates a squad in melee with my hostage and punches them to kill the squad. I now choose to activate Boba Fett, who dodges and punches Jordan's Wookiees for 4. And takes 4 wounds, losing another mini. Jordan activates and shoots into Han, and this time, even with uncanny luck and low profile, Han is toast. Going into my now very limited bag, I activate a sniper, and I shoot into a Wookiee by the hostage, and I kill him. I then move with my second action to be able to get as much distance as possible from Jordan, but also to be close enough to move and claim the hostage in the next turn. Jordan activates a Wookiee squad in melee with the snipers and swings, killing the squad. Now with only a single unit of vets left, I choose to climb down and take a range 4 shot into a single Wookiee. With only 3 activations left who haven't been, it's now all down to Jordan. He activates and shoots into my snipers. With 5 down to 4, he wipes the squad. Jordan now activates the Wookiees in melee with Boba Fett for 3 PS1, and with Impervious, I now lose Boba Fett. Jordan has this game fully wrapped up, and moves his hostage. He then moves towards my veterans with his chieftain, and takes a shot, and I take 2 wounds to end the turn. Turn 5, I only have standing orders. Jordan plays a 2-pip to secure the priority. With his first activation, he gives me the table. This was a really fun game with Jordan. Unfortunately for me, I wanted to play the ranged gunline, and Jordan didn't give me that choice. This is a perfect example of great turn 0 gameplay.
Yeah, I spoke at the start about sort of how fickle this bowcaster Wookiee unit can be, but I've obviously sacrificed enough to the dice gods this time, because I don't think I've rolled as hot on these ever. I think 4 out of the shots that I took had at least 3 crits involved in there, and then there was one that was with an aim made 7 out of 8 hits, which is just absolutely unheard of on 7 white dice. So yeah, that was really influential in sort of picking up units, and yeah, the bowcasters that did that in 2 shots left on 1 wound, getting through all his defensive tech. Don't matter if you've got dodges or low profile, if you just roll crits. So the chieftain that I use today is a 3D print of Tarful. It's a really amazing quality print, actually. He's really good, and he's freshly painted, so I naturally expected, as with all freshly painted models, that he would be the first thing that was just shot off the board, no problem. But as the game panned out, he was able to move up in cover and with his dodges and was relatively unaffected. He jumped in, had a throwdown with Boba, came out on the right side of that. He then moved forward at the end of turn 4, shot a unit of vets, doing 2 wounds, and then knowing that I'd killed Tom's 2 big characters and likely having taken out all the command cards, I was confident of priority, and luckily got that on the first activation of turn 5. He took an aim and shot the remaining vets for 3 wounds PS1, and I think Tom rolled 1 save, which meant the unit was finished, and that was a game. So yeah, really pleased with him, and really pleased he didn't get shot off the board because he was a freshly painted model. So yeah, super happy. So final thoughts on the game. I thought it was a really good game. My dice were on fire, both offensively and defensively, which made the task a lot easier, and I think some of Tom's defensive rolls were struggling. So again, that's sort of just showing the dice being on my side a little bit. It's the 3rd time I played Tom, I think, and the first 2 times he's battered me. So this is it's nice to get one back on the board. But he's a really great opponent. Plays the game in the spirit it's supposed to be played in. He's just an absolute gent to play against, and he's done a real good job with all the battle reports on the podcast. So again, I would highly recommend to anyone who wants to come in and record in one of these with Tom. You'll have a really good time, really good game, and have a lot of laughs as well. Hopefully your dice are as hot as mine are, but yeah, definitely recommend doing it.
If you ever find yourself lucky enough to be opposite Jordan on the table, you're in for a good game. Until next time, may the force be with you.
That's no moon.